it's time to start the fall food plots. I've got the soybeans and the buckwheat here. One strip of buckwheat right up the middle. I'm going to use my hybrid system. I'm going to mow it down as low as I can. I'm going to come back with my chain drag, scratch it up, broadcast the seeds, and then drag it again and be done. It's a shame I don't have some kind of a combine, like the smallest combine they make, because you have all these crops that you plant for deer, especially buckwheat. All this is going to seed. If there's a way I could harvest all these seeds and bag them for myself, I could use them again for next year. So it kind of sucks that you plant all this stuff and then you just kill it for no reason. So that might be on a list of things to check out, like a little combine that we can actually harvest this stuff, and our winter rye and our winter wheat. We should be able to harvest that stuff before we just kill it and terminate it. But anyway, let's get started on this. So here's what it looks like after I mowed the buckwheat. You can still see there's buckwheat along the edge here because they kind of mixed in the buckwheat and the soybeans, so I didn't cut it out completely. There might be like a foot. Down here it's a little bit thicker because they're mixed together. That's the way that I broadcast the seeds. But that side there is pretty nice. And you can see a line of buckwheat seeds, kind of like because of the rain, washed down that way, and a line mixed in with the soybeans right there. Right here, a little clumpy mixed with the soybeans again. But anyway, I got soybeans on both sides. This strip is mowed, and I'm debating if this is worth it or not, because it seems like an awful lot of work to plant a crop that you're just killing, especially like this buckwheat. And I'm just totally getting rid of it here. I mean, it kept weeds out, but to me, it seems like it would have been easier if I would have just drove twice a year with Roundup and just left this dead dirt until I planted it in the fall for a couple months, because this mowing was worse than I thought. The buckwheat has so much moisture in it that it actually turns to paste as you're cutting. The whole ground is like a paste of green stuff, of green slop, like wet grass, and the mower spinning. It would probably be easier with a tractor and a bush hog to come through here, and you probably would have had no problems. But it's still just another step that takes time. So I'm not sold on planting buckwheat and then killing it later to plant something else into it. It seems like a step of planting something. If you're not doing a no-till, it's a step for doing nothing. So I don't know. I'm going to get the chain drag. Now we're going to drag this and get it planted. Yeah, so there's all the buckwheat piled up underneath there, all the thatch, and that's kind of just dragging on the ground. It's not really scratching anymore, but you can see what the buckwheat does trying to mow it. Yeah, I'm not sold on it. It seems like it's actually a waste of time. I don't know. I'm going to clean this up a little bit and then let's broadcast all these seeds. All right, enough playing around with that. What we have here, this is from Frigid Forest. This is their big and beastie brassica bend, and that's what it has in it right there. Purple top turnips, radishes, kale, and some rape. This is a bag of purple top turnips and a bag of collard greens. So two 50-pound bags. This is an 8.5-pound bag. This little bag costs almost as much as one of these. And I found last year, if you watch my video, I shot the buck out of that tower right there, and he was up on this hillside, and all the deer were eating purple top turnips. Nothing else, just the purple top turnips. So because I already had the little 8.5-pound bag, I'm going to use my little hand spreader, and I'm going to put half this bag, one swipe in here, and then I'm going to use these two to broadcast over top of everything with the big chest spreader in there. But that little bag is almost as expensive as one bag of the other stuff. All right, let's get started. Here we go. All right, these are the purple top turnips. These are the things I work the best in the wintertime. I'm kind of thinking the whole spring and summer food plots seem like a waste of time to me. If it was up to me for hunting, for deer hunting, I would plant corn and to last throughout the spring, summer, because that crop will be there for hunting season. It'll be dry corn, standing corn for hunting season. And then this time of year, August, it's like 90 some degrees out here today, you should have a food plot, dirt, that you can just work up a little bit with your chain drag and put your purple top turnips, your brassicas down. All that other stuff, this buckwheat and rotating stuff, to me it really seems like a waste of time. I planted wheat and rye at the end of last year, and then this spring when I wanted to plant all this stuff, I had to get rid of all that wheat and rye, and I didn't want to do the no-till system, so I had thatch. I had to mow it and kill it and spray it to try to get rid of the stuff to get back to the dirt to plant these soybeans and buckwheat. So I think I might be done with that. But let's spread some of these brassicas, the turnips, and then we'll go back and get the bag of collard greens, because I want to try that, because they're a forage collard greens. So as the deer eat them, they regrow, unlike these turnips. When they eat the turnips, they're done. So whatever lasts for hunting season will make it as a bulb, which they'll dig up in the wintertime. And you could see that in my videos. If you go back in the history, you'll see them pawing in this hillside in a foot of snow trying to get to these turnips. So the brassicas and standing corn, to me, it seems like that's the way to go. All right, that's the bag of collard greens. So when I went down the strip, I kind of leaned to the right and leaned to the left with the turnip. So with these, I'm just going to go straight down the middle, put one strip of the collard greens right in between the two purple top turnips. See how that works. They almost look the same. You wouldn't be able to tell. The last thing I'm going to do is take the buggy. I would normally drag the chain on top of it again, but because there's so much thatch from the buckwheat, it's kind of just dragging all that thatch underneath the chain drag, which sucks. That's why I don't like that. But I'm just going to drive over it with the wheels of the buggy and just let the wheels pack it down. Plot's all done. I went over it about, I don't know, 7 or 8 times with the buggy, and I could come back with the sprayer with Roundup and spray Roundup up and down this strip because there is some grass, some weeds that were beneath here. Like you can see the patches of grass right there. That stuff was buried in with the buckwheat. I think the buckwheat was keeping it down, and now it'll probably sprout up because now it's got sunlight. But I don't want to spend any more money on this. So this is it. Whatever grows, grows. So we're going to call this finished. It is supposed to rain tonight. And we're going to go back and work on the other plot now and see how that turned out.